With respect to Jumah Salat,
Yes.
so someone is asking, Salam, is it still permissible to have Jumah in small groups by homes, etc., as masjid are now open?
No, it's not permissible at all. That allowance that was granted for people to gather together in homes or gather together in small gatherings to the extent that was allowed in their workplace or in a building or some place to have Jummah was only given in the Sharia because people were barred from the masjid for Jummah Salat. Okay? Remember, there are certain things in Islam which are allowed only based on necessity, when there is a necessity to do something. But as soon as the reason for the necessity goes, the allowance also goes. Okay? The illah and the cause goes, the hukum also goes, according to Usul al-Fiqh. So let's give you a practical example. If you are in a place and there is absolutely no water and you want to perform salat, and you have searched for water all around you, and you could not find water, what is the allowance you have now? Perform tayammum. So you perform tayammum and you perform salat. But by the time the other salat comes in and you happen to be in that place, now you get water. You were able to access water. Either you purchased the water, somebody passed by and they brought some water. Now the question is it still allowed for you to make tayammum for your other salat when you have water in your hands? No. But tayammum is a form of taharat. And the reason is quite clear. The reason under which you are allowed to perform tayammum, that illat has gone, that cause has gone. So you have to practice on the law. So in Jummah Salat, what is essential is that there is one place where everybody goes for their Jummah, whether it is a Jama'ah Masjid, and in the absence of a masjid, there might be a building where if there is a place that no masjid has been built, all the Muslims come towards. It can even be an open land. In places where Muslims do not build the masjids or they have no built masjid, there might be an open land and everybody, like how they go out for Eid Salat, they decide to gather there for Jummah, because there is no masjid. There is one place that gathers everybody. Jum'ah comes from the word Jama'ah, which means gathering. And that is required for Muslims living in any place. So where we have masjids built in different locality, this is where people gather for their 5 daily salat, and this is the place where the Jummah shall be performed, because that's the place where the 5 times salat are performed and people come there. So wherever people are, if you go to work, you live one place and you go to work another place, you will go in that locality for Jummah. You won't perform Jummah in your office, nor would you go to a friend's house to perform Jummah. This is what everybody knows, everybody knew before the allowance has been given back. Everybody used to do that. No, but when that, let's say that restriction came, and they said, first, masjid had to be closed. Secondly, an allowance was given for 5 people. The law was that at one time, only 5 people could have gotten into a masjid. So some masjid had 2 Jummahs or 3 Jummahs to have at least. But the most, if you have 3, will be 15 people. Although Muslims would have taken the chance to get in. Right? So when that was the case, those who could not be among the 5 or among the other 5 or the third 5, the question is what they would do then. There are 2 options. One is do not perform Jummah at all, but that's not permissible. You can't just be a Muslim, allowing your Friday to pass, you are not a Musafir, you are not sick, and you are missing Jummah Salat. You have to perform your Jummah Salat. Okay, so the other thing was not perform it at all, or at least see what's the best you can do to have the allotted amount of people there, the minimum for Jummah to be held, and gather to perform the Jummah. The second option was the best because that was an allowance given when we are in situations like this. And this was a situation not only in Trinidad, probably in the whole world. Okay, so therefore we had to practice on the allowance of having small gatherings, probably meeting at your home or a brother's home, or even in the company's yard, where Muslims have certain, they have their factory, they have their business place, and they gather a few Muslims. They used to do that. So that was only on account of the fact that we could not go to the masjid. to have that larger gathering then. Only 5 people could have gone. But now, alhamdulillah, the allowance is given to have 25% capacity. In other words, 25%. If we look at the size of many of our masajid, even if 25% come, even if 50% come, it's still, if a lot of people come, still it is within the 25% then. Because the masjid can take a lot of people. So therefore, where the allowance has been given now for larger gathering, more than 5, there is absolutely no allowance in the Sharia any longer for 3 or 4 people, for 4 people or 5 people to meet at a house and perform their Jumma Salat, or meet at a room and perform their Jumma Salat, or meet in their company's compound, in their factory or in an office to perform. That there is no allowance for that, because of the fact that that which allows that has gone. You need to get in the masjid, wherever that masjid might be, and perform your Jummah Salat there. Now, in the case where Jummah is performed in the masjid close to you, and you go in your home with 5 people to perform Jummah, that is not acceptable, because that is not what are the guidelines of the Sharia.